Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to BBB Sharing. This is Joshua, and today I have Dave and Pat. How are you guys doing?
We're good. Doing well.
Good. So, I know nothing about you guys. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do, who you are.
Sure. We are both with Companion Extraordinaire Home Care Services. What we do is we provide care to folks in their homes as they age in place. So, for folks who don't want to go to an institutionalized care setting, and wish to remain in their home or their residence, but do need assistance, we go in and we can provide care aids that will help them do things like get dressed, prepare meals, prepare them for bed, et cetera, a little bit of light housekeeping, so that folks can remain independent, and with dignity in their homes as they age.
Oh, that's awesome. What are some of the things you see when people don't want to go to the living facilities?
Well, it's changed, especially since 2020, and the us being hit with COVID. Before then, it was about 50% of folks wanted to remain at home, and age. Other folks were looking for maybe going into a community where they could socialize more, et cetera, with
Mm,
folks their age, have planned activities, that sort of thing. And then when COVID, struck us, it really changed the dynamics of what people were looking for as they aged. Unfortunately, what they saw and what they remember from COVID is people who were in facilities got locked in. Their families weren't allowed to visit. It was almost, they viewed it almost as a sentence,
God, yeah.
and a loss of complete independence because they had no control over what they could do on a daily basis, who they could see on a daily basis. Families were locked out. So that really shifted the what people preferred as they age. And
Mhm.
now when you look at surveys, it's easily 65, 70% people when they're asked how they want to age, they say that they want to age in place in their home, and they want to
Mhm.
stay at home. Another piece of that too is people work, for a living. They raise a family in their home. To them, owning their home and actually not having a mortgage anymore is something that many people work for their entire lives. To
Yeah.
them, that means something, especially the generation now that, is 70, 80, 90 plus. Owning a home really means something to them.
Hmm.
And to have to leave that home, it's an emotional, experience for them. So they do prefer to stay in that home where they feel safe, they feel secure, they feel it's someplace that they've built their lives around, and prefer to stay there.
That makes sense. Yeah, especially like, you're familiar with the place, you know where things are. Going into a completely new area is daunting.
Right,
So
exactly.
that ease of mind is definitely there. Um, but when you go to people's houses, what are some of the things that you kind of think of when you walk in? What's going on in your head?
Sure. So Pat is our business development professional. So she's out there kind of creating the brand awareness.
Hmm.
We've been in business in May of this year. Next month, we'll be celebrating our 22nd year of operation.
Congrats.
So we've seen a lot when we go into homes. We are regulated by the Virginia Department of Health,
Oh,
and they have certain regulations when it comes to us and companies like ours providing care in the home. One of the first things we have to do is have a registered nurse do an assessment of an individual, to just make sure that we can meet their needs at home, that they don't need care so significant that they can't get that care at home. They need to be
mm,
more in an institutionalized care setting. So that assessment is done. And then based on what that individual wants or needs or what their family wants or needs, we develop a care plan, based on taking care of that individual and making sure that they remain safe and well cared for at home. A lot of times we help families, when it comes to folks and as they age and they need care, if they're part of a family, usually it's the oldest daughter of that family that ends up
really?
having to be responsible for that care.
Where's the
It'll,
sun?
well, I mean, it's a lot of times, the family's totally involved, but it's that oldest daughter that provides that care, or oversees it or is responsible for making sure that mom and dad are well taken care of.
It's kind of like my family.
Yeah,
My aunt is taking care of my grandma too.
right. It's just kind of the dynamics of the way the family unit and the structure works out. A lot of times that oldest daughter or other family member has to work full time. They may have a family of their own, and here now there's a significant change in mom or dad or both. And, then now they have this burden, where they have to make sure mom or dad are safe and well taken care of. So a lot of times it's, working with that individual to make sure we supplement the care that they provide so that they can go to work and know that mom or dad are well taken care of. They don't have to worry about it. We'll see folks that we go into a house for the first time and we notice that, hey, it's a two-story house with the bedrooms upstairs, but now dad's sleeping in a bed in the dining room or sleeping in a recliner all the time because he doesn't want to go up and down the stairs anymore. It's no longer safe. A lot of instances we're going in and we're providing care for folks who have been diagnosed with a dementia. Or some kind of cognitive issue where they're not safe at home, maybe to operate a stove or, an oven or that sort of thing. Or maybe they're just, mildly forgetful and we need to be there to make sure that they're preparing meals or we're preparing meals for them, providing, hey, it's, Joshua, it's time to take your medicine, we're going to have lunch and you need to, so it's that sort of care that we're providing on a daily basis. So we do see a lot when we first walk into someone's home. It could be anything from somebody with a meticulous home to somebody who's hoarding, and we have to deal with that issue. We work with other professionals that specialize in that to help that person because if someone's hoarding and they have a lot of materials around the houses, boxes, papers, this, that, it's a fall hazard, right? It's a trip hazard. So we want to eliminate those issues again, with the main goal of keeping the individual as safe as we possibly can in their home.
Yeah, that I didn't know how much really went into that because it's really not only just going into someone's house and taking care. It's really incorporating yourself in that family and making sure that everyone else is like, knows what's going on. This is what we're doing, and you're just part of it now.
That's you hit the nail right on the head. Our tagline actually is "We're the family you choose." So
there you go. Okay.
Over the years, like I said, being in business for 22 years, we've just had families come back to us after we've cared for their loved one and just say, gosh, you guys are such a part of the family. We can't tell you how much we appreciate what your caregivers have done with mom and dad. We feel like caregivers are sisters or brothers to us at this point. But yeah, we're the family you choose. We want to go in, we want to integrate ourselves. We want to know the family dynamics, what makes it work, what makes the individual we're caring for happy, how can they be at their best? How can we facilitate that? What's happening in the family so that, maybe daughter A wants to be informed of everything that happens during the course of a day. But daughter B is like, I just want to know they're safe. Mom or dad, that's all I need to know. If you say everything, you had a good day, that's all I need to know.
Some people just need that. Yeah.
Right. So, each family is different in the dynamics, and we've dealt with families that absolutely want to provide the best loving environment that they can. And unfortunately, we've seen the other end of the spectrum too, where, the families just want to be hands off. Like, I don't care. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to deal with this. It's up to you guys. So we have to fit into that mold so that our number one concern is the person we're taking care of. Are they getting the best, highest quality care that we can provide it, as a company? But then on the side, we have to make sure that the family is also, satisfied, that they see what's happening. We're meeting their needs as well, so we do become part of the family.
Awesome. Do you see when you go in, and we're like elder abuse or like elder neglect, is there like a kind of an area where you kind of have to stop and be like, all right, the family's going to have to kind of intervene at some point because we can do everything, but like what's the threshold to where you're going to probably need a little bit more support on your end?
Okay, so that's a great question, Joshua. There's so many different avenues of support that we can reach out to depending on the situation. And in the case that you just mentioned, when we suspect that there's abuse, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, taking advantage of
Yeah.
someone's finances, um, at the slightest hint of that, we report it.
Okay. Where does
Um,
that get reported?
well, there's a number of different agencies, that it can be
Okay.
reported to.
Gotcha.
There's the ombudsman, but there's elder care agencies that we report to, so that they can investigate. And sometimes that puts us in a bad situation, right?
Hmm.
But again, at the end of the day, we're there for the client we're taking care of, and that's who we're charged with making sure is safe,
Yeah.
in all aspects.
I
So
think if anything, it's more of a moral kind of thing. At least from my standpoint, it's like one of those see something, say something things where, this just doesn't feel right with me. Hey, I'm gonna like what's going on here? And then, they say something that doesn't, furthers my point. I'm like, okay, cool, we have a problem.
right, and that's exactly right. There's no gray area when we suspect it, whether it's office personnel and dealing with the family or dealing with the individual. We suspect it, but 90% of the time, it's our care providers in the home. They develop
Hmm.
a relationship with the person they're taking care of. As I
Hmm.
said, we become part of the family almost, and um, if they have an inkling that something's wrong, they report it to us so that we can, make a decision. Hey, okay, someone needs to be alerted here. And a lot of
Hmm.
times it's a situation where it's not severe where we have to report it, but we do have a responsibility to talk to the family like, hey, you're doing this, and we really think for mom's best care, you should probably be doing it differently. Maybe, let us suggest A, B, or C.
Yeah.
In other cases where it's complete neglect or somebody, is absolutely being abused, or we suspect that there's that abuse and we're not going to get anywhere with the family, we report it right away.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think we can leave it there. It was really nice talking to you.
Nice talking
It
to
was
you as
great for
well.
you guys coming in. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, just basically, there's home care agencies like ours, around the state, around the country,
Hmm.
that provide excellent care. And, one of the things that I touched on earlier when we first started talking is that, the shift that the majority of folks aging at home,
Hmm.
aging are prefer to get that care at home now,
Hmm.
and it's created a shortage in care providers, throughout the country. So, I think one of the things we need to do is we need to really look at the way we look at these folks, these care providers. They do not get the recognition, they do not get the status level,
Hmm.
the perception of what true heroes and inspirational people they are. They go into a family's home that they don't know.
Hmm.
They start taking, they, like I said, they interject themselves in that family. They become part of the family. They look at the person they're taking care of as a loved one or as a part of their own family, and they look out for that individual. And they just provide unbelievable care with a servant's heart. And as a society, we look at care providers, and child care providers as the low end of the totem pole in society, and they're
Hmm.
really not. And we really need to elevate the perception of these individuals that take care of folks on a daily basis and recognize them for the very truly special people that they are. And I think if we're able to elevate that perception and show the community how valuable these individuals are, I think that will entice more people to do this type of work going forward. Right now, we're projected to have a huge shortage of care providers in the year 2030.
Really?
We're only going to have, on the current trend, we'll only have half of them in the workforce that we actually need.
Oh my God.
So, as I age in place, that's a concern, right? So we really need to elevate the stature of those individuals, and they're as big a part of the community and wellness and keeping people safe as any other medical professional. I don't care what kind of doctor you may have,
Yeah.
uh, you know. So I would love for people to consider that and help us in the mission in elevating what the status of a true caregiver, a personal care aide, a certified nursing assistant, I want to make sure that they get the recognition and are perceived as the true caring individuals that they are.
Yeah, I mean, if they haven't yet, they definitely do now. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And anyone who's following us, just make sure check us out on Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn. Check out their company. Say it one more time.
It's Companion Extraordinaire Home Care Services.
Okay. And what's your number?
It's 804-752-2205. You can also find us on the internet at www.cenninc.com.
Beautiful. All right. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Joshua.
Thank you.
Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.